The starless Los Angeles Clippers have done it once again. A couple of weeks ago, the LA Clippers rallied from a 25-point second-half deficit to defeat Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets at Crypto.com Arena, despite the absence of both Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. And just 2 weeks ago, the Lakers rallied from a 24-point second-half deficit to defeat Joel Embiid and the 76ers at the United Center. And last week in Washington, the Clippers pulled off yet another stunning comeback, this one the most significant in the franchise's history, to win the game. With 1:20 left in the second quarter, Wizards' Bradley Beal sank a pair of free throws to give Washington a 66-31 lead over the Lakers. As the teams entered the locker room at halftime, the 35-point margin had been reduced to 30 points. After trailing by 20 at the half, the Clippers rallied for an unexpected 116-115 victory by scoring 40 points in each of the next two quarters, outscoring Washington 80-49 in the process. The Clippers' most recent comeback was made possible by some late heroics from guard Luke Kennard, as well as a handful of egregious mistakes by the Washington Wizards. With 9 seconds left on the clock, Kennard sank a three-pointer to pull LA within 3 points of the Warriors. As a result, the Wizards called a timeout, but they were still having problems inbounding the ball, and they were assessed a 5-second penalty. Kennard took advantage of the turnover by draining another clutch three-pointer to tie the game in the waning seconds, but he was fouled by Beal in the subsequent shot attempt. After converting on the free throw, the fifth-year guard completed the go-ahead 4-point play to give the Clippers a historic comeback victory. As a result, where does the Los Angeles Clippers' 35-point comeback rank among the most impressive in NBA regular season history? Let's take a look at some of the best comebacks in NBA history. Los Angeles came up 1 point short of tying the record for the greatest comeback in the history of the NBA. The Utah Jazz's 36-point comeback victory over the Denver Nuggets in November of 1996 has never been equaled or surpassed since. In the closing minute of the second quarter, Utah was trailing the Nuggets 70-34 at the Utah Valley Convention Center. With Karl Malone and Jeff Hornacek at the helm of the Jazz's second-half surge, the Jazz defeated the Nuggets 107-103. Together with the Sacramento Kings, the LA Clippers' comeback on Tuesday ranks as the second largest in NBA history. Sacramento overcame a 35-point second-half deficit to defeat the Chicago Bulls 102-98 in a game played in Chicago in December of 2009. A few minutes into the third quarter, the Kings were trailing 79-44 and were down 19 points going into the fourth. Nonetheless, a 33-10 advantage in the final 12 minutes enabled Tyreke Evans and the rest of his teammates to shock the Derrick Rose-led Bulls. Interestingly, the next largest comeback occurred last season, when the Boston Celtics recovered from a 32-point deficit late in the second quarter against the San Antonio Spurs to win the game. The Celtics knotted the game midway through the fourth quarter and held on for a 143-140 overtime victory over the Spurs at the TD Garden on a Friday night. With a career-high 60 points, Jason Tatum led the charge in the comeback victory. Los Angeles' comeback victory marked only the fifth occasion in NBA history that a club came back to win a regular season game after falling behind by at least 30 points in the first half. An in-depth look at all the NBA comebacks of at least 30 points during the course of the league's history. Tied for 6, Raptors 30 points versus the Dallas Mavericks. Los Angeles Lakers 30 points versus the Dallas Mavericks. At number 5, Golden State Warriors 31 points versus the Milwaukee Bucks. At number 4, Boston Celtics 32 points versus the Spurs. Tied for second, Los Angeles Clippers 35 points versus the Wizards. Also tied at second, Sacramento Kings 35 points versus the Bulls. And finally at number 1, Utah Jazz 36 points versus the Denver Nuggets. Well guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to Jump Ball Central, and hit that notification bell so that you never miss a video. We'll see you guys next time.